Okay then. So let's get started. So I'm just gonna give out the this week handout copy in the Discord. I'm just pasting it in the Discord now. Hope you are able to receive it. Just a minute, my kid is actually crying. So this week we are going over CSS background. Like, we can attach a color. We can set a color for background. We can actually create gradients and use that gradient as background. And we have plenty of things that we can do with background. So we will go over that, and then we will go over some of the advanced CSS selectors. There are different types of selectors apart from class and ID. Okay, we have attribute selectors, child selectors, and CSS combinators. So combinators, and you have the pseudo selectors, pseudo elements and pseudo selectors. So we will go over all these topics. And finally, I've been using Figma a lot in these sessions, but I thought of, it's a good design tool, guys. If you are willing to learn, or uh, if you're actually starting up designing something for the web, you better start that design. You better keep that, once draw that on a Figma, and then start with your design, because Figma offers many more features. Apart from, you can draw it and you can export it for web as well. So it's that easy doing in Figma. So I've added that. I found out, this is where I learned about Figma, guys. With this guy is awesome. So I've actually added that video in the handout as well. So I may touch, if we have time, I may go over the Figma design, Figma tool. If not, I have given this link here. This video is actually enough to start using Figma. Okay, so I've covered some basics of CSS. So from this session onwards, guys, I don't want you guys to write CSS. I just want you guys to write SCSS. So that's one more thing. So let me just, that's so much, because this week we have different contents. Right? Let me write them down. Last week, what happened? I actually had this guide and I was going on my own, and I have made it back and forth. So I don't want to do that again. So I'm just having this order noted down for me. It's been a little bit tricky, guys, to work with. I mean, office and preparing this content for the session, and it's been a little bit tricky. So background. Second, different kinds of selectors. Third, SCSS basics. Fourth, Figma. Okay. Fine. Let's start with the background, guys. So how many of you went ahead and attached background images and already know about background images?
A little.
Okay. Okay. So let me create a container. Okay. I've created a container here. If you see, my body height is 0 and my container height is also 0. So for this demo, I just want to, make this container as big as the viewport. So if the viewport is, 600 and 960, we have to, I want to make it a 600, 960. So I just want to increase the height and width of this container to the entire viewport. So this space, we call it as viewport, guys. Sometimes don't, so it's important that you catch some terminology. You adopt some terminology in this training when we are speaking or we are chatting or making some conversation. It's important that you pick up some terminology. So this is the white page between, this page. So let me add a background to that body. We know background color, we have used many times. So I did not added that. Sorry, I opened the, selectors HTML. So the violet portion that we have here, whatever it here is the viewport, guys. We call this as viewport. So even if it is mobile or web or whatever it is, for the web, this is the viewport. Okay. So whenever you're calling that page, whenever you want to refer this section, always say the viewport. The viewport is having issues, the viewport is small or viewport is big or something like that. Viewport width or viewport height. I just want you to refer this section as viewport. So now let us assume this guy doesn't have the styles, and I just want this container to have some height and have some width. What is the width that it should have? 100. Height 100 viewport height. So when I said viewport height and 100% or 100 viewport width, this is a CSS metric, guys, new CSS metrics. So it will actually take up a space of the viewport height. See, the container height is now 663 and our viewport height is also, if you could see on the top right hand side corner here, it is 663. So it will change, it will actually change the height and width of this container according to the viewport. So let me assign a background color to this. Brown. So if you could see, there is a scroll coming because this guy actually having a height and width of the same as the viewport. Whatever the viewport height and width, that is the height and width that this guy is actually taking. But there is an extra padding for this body. This extra padding is actually causing the body to scroll. So always remember, any extra space apart from the calculated space will disturb your entire flow and gives you a, abrupt crawling. Whenever you see some abrupt scrolling coming in apart from your, sorry, you should remember to check for the, around elements, these elements around the element, and check for any padding or margin. So you should, so now my body has a margin and padding. Now if I zero the margin and padding, now see my element is kind of not having, my element is expanded, this container element expanded to the viewport and viewport height and viewport width, and this body itself does not have a scroll now. So I can, if I'm making it smaller, it is actually becoming the same, it is actually taking up the same height and same width of viewport. So that is this metric, guys. If you wanted to do a design something like this, you can do it. So you can put it to 80 and 80. And if you want this to be center, what we should do, I haven't taught you, but let me do that. Display flex, justify content center. So use this properties to center. Okay. Why is it not center? No, justify content itself is a center. That's tricky because align items property should bring it to center. Okay.
Ganesh, please specify height to that body.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. I forgot. Yeah. The body doesn't have a height, so it is not, it doesn't know what is the height of the body, so it doesn't know how to center it. Great catch. Is it Shiva?
Yes, Ganesh.
Oh, finally you made it.
Yes.
So guys, this is Shiva. Shiva is my colleague, and we kind of share a mentor-mentee relationship. So he's helping me out here also. Thank you, Shiva. So now that we have an element, let's try to put some background to it. So we have seen background color, but we can attach background image as well. So I have some images already loaded here, guys, like here, background image. To attach an image, you can say URL /images. So I'm actually giving out the relative, relative path for that image here in this folder. So if you are referring to the current folder, you always say /, and then because this is where my style and index file is there, guys. If it is there in some other folder, you'll have to just come back from that folder and go to this folder and then select the right image. I hope you already know about these basics. I just wanted to cover it. So as soon as I said, let's take Bob is kind of big. Let's get Dora. Let's use Dora image. Okay, if you see, you are not able to figure out the border of that image. So let's add some border so that you could see that box. Okay. So now this image, this Dora image, this image is now background to this particular container div. You can put some content inside the div. This is not like our typical image, guys. So we are actually making this image as a background to this div. This is not an image tag. I don't have an image tag here. So that is now background for this. Now on the foreground, you can write anything you want in this image. Okay, you can write any content and that content will flow on top of that image. Hope this is clear. So if you see some fancy design on the, an image on the background and some content on top of it, so always remember that they might have attached the background image as a background image to that element. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, my image only have one Dora, but when I said, background image here like this, but there are many Doras and many monkeys, you could see. So what is happening here is if you have attached one image as a background image to your container element, if the viewport or the height and width of that particular div is bigger than this background image, let's say the background image is 200 pixels, but this container have 600 pixels, it will repeat that background image in X and Y axis. It on X and Y axis. So it could fill up that space. Okay. If you want to fill up that space, it can do that. So what is the purpose of repeating it? I just go over that. I'll cover that. But for now, you understand it is repeating, and you can make a choice of stopping it. So you can say background repeat, and then you can repeat it in x-axis and ignore the y-axis, or you can repeat it on y-axis and stop it on x-axis, or you can completely stop the repetition itself. Okay. Or so it will only repeat once, so whatever is left, it will be just be like that. And can we only add one image? No, you can add as many images as you want. Here with a comma, you put a comma and say URL, and again /images and Bob. Now Bob is also here, and we said repeat, no repeat, so Bob is not repeating, guys. So now we have another image, that is hills. URL /images /hills.jpg. My third image is also come. Now remember the order, guys. First comes first, second comes below, and the third comes even below. So you have to, if you keep a tab on this order. If you want something to come on top, yes, move it to the front on the commas. Always remember, you separate the images with a comma. Okay. Now let's do something crazy, like let's ask this Dora to fly on the mountains, and let's ask this SpongeBob to just sit on the garden. How can I do that? How can I adjust these positions? How can I change the size of these images? So you can do that. You can use another property called background size, and you can say 200 pixels comma 200 pixels. So you can use percentage pixels, or two left, or two back, or 100% or something you can. So the first is for the first image, after the comma for second image, and after the comma for third image. So you always have to mind the order. Okay. Now I just want to the Dora to fly here and the SpongeBob to sit here. So how can I do that? Okay. You can use another property called background position.
Center.
Sorry.
I mean, center we need to use.
No. You can use any position you want, or you can give a metric like 90%, 20%, anything like that. Yeah. So you can say left. Okay. Left, center, and put comma. For the second one, you can say right. Bob is on the right now. For the third one, but this is a hill station, guys. I don't want to pull that. I just want this image to actually fill up my space. So this is actually having some space, white color here, white color here. I don't want that. I just want this div to fill up my space irrespective of the view and height. If I change the height like this, so it should not, this should not happen. Height is matching, it is fitting, but you cannot make sure always user opens in a same size, right? User may open in a bigger size, but how do you fill this size? So you can say background size, not 100%, you can say cover. So remember, I'm editing the background size property, not position. You say cover. So cover that, if I have whatever the size I have, it will actually cover that. It will stretch that image, or it will crop that image. It will try to cover that space of that particular background image. So cover is, I applied cover on the hills image. If you remember, after the third comma, After the third comma, I'm applying the cover property, or you can say contain. Contain kind of, try to fit the entire image on the element itself, irrespective of the height. It will only fill the width. So if you set the property to contain, it will try to fit the image in the entire image. It will try to show the entire image in the box itself. But for my goal, this should actually cover, guys. So it should fill up the space irrespective, because I just want this guy to sit here. So background position, left, Dora is on the left, and this Bob is on the right, and this is. So now if you see, I want this particular portion in the center. You can say center. So what am I doing here is, if I say left, it will start stretching for the image, the hill image from the left hand side. So it will actually set this image, align image here, and it start searching, stretching that image to fill the space from here. If you say center, it will place the image in center and then stretch in all directions to fill up the space. So when you said background size cover, make sure that you add the position to center, so that it will stretch the image in all directions if you want. Or if you want to stretch it from left only, you can set it as left. Okay, thanks, Karthik. So now the Bob guy is not sitting in the garden. Okay, you can say 90% of the top, 90% from left, and 90% from the top. Now this guy from left 90%, from top 90%. Now Bob is sitting on the garden. So now you can position these guys by the width. And so you have to figure out the X and Y axis. If you remember X and Y axis, okay. So this is my 0, 0, x0, y0 position. Always remember, this corner of HTML element will always be x0 and y0. This is the x axis, and this is my y axis. Now I said x 90% from till here, and y 90%. So it is here. So that is the point that it starts stretching that image. So let me know if you are able to follow here. So let me open. This is what I was referring to. So our div, this particular div is here. So in this quadrant, I said from left 90%, and here it is on the y axis 90%, and this is the point, x 90%, and then y also 90%. So this is where it should sit. So that's what I said for the position. You can give it in pixels, but again, my image changes, right? So I just want that to not to sit in a single position, but to change its position based on the viewport. That's why I've used percentage. If your element is fixed, you can use pixels also. Hope this is clear. Any questions so far? Like image size, you can attach multiple images with a comma, with the whenever your each URL value can have a image and comma, and then again another URL value, and then another URL value. So all the images will be loaded, and then you can size these guys with the comma. You can say, you can set height and width also. Okay, you say 100px, the width also, width and height also changes. You can add two properties, but I just don't want to stretch these images. So I don't know the aspect ratio of the image, so I'm only manipulating the height. So if you want the width to be manipulated, you can attach second property and it will sorry, height to be manipulated, you can attach the you can add the second property and it will manipulate the height as well. But so this is how you can alter the size of that background image, and this is how you position the background image, and you can stop repeating. Any questions still here?
Ganesh?
Yeah.
If we keep the second image as 50% and 50%, will we view that image in center?
50%?
No, down, background.
Oh, you mean to say this guy,
Yeah.
Bob, 50% and 50%. You may not be able to see in the center. It is looking as if it is in the center, but it is not really in center, because your X point is from 50% and 50%. It starts here. You have to minus the width, half width of this image, right?
Okay.
Because if you want it to center, this image center point should come to the center point of that particular image, right? You have to minus the image, half of the image width and half of the image height.
Okay.
But yeah, as you said, if you say 50%, 50%, it actually comes in, somewhat center to that background image. You're right. Contain the height. Nichita, to your question, content does take height. You can say content will actually try to contain the entire image. Like, it doesn't care about what the viewport's height, sorry, the element height or width. It will try to fit that entire image. It will try to show that entire image to the user. It will try to render the entire image, so it will fit that entire image. So even though if my I only have this much width height, so it will actually crunch that image and show that entire image here. It doesn't care if it is some space on the left or some space on the right to that image. So when you said cover, it'll no matter whatever the available width or height, it will try to fill in that space. So if you are if you placed some text and you attached a dark background as a background, and you really don't care about what portion of the image is loading, you just want that awesome background to come, then you can use the cover property. If you want something to if you want the entire image to be visible all the time, you can use contain property. These three images and three properties confusing, or should I do explain with one image, or is it okay if I'm I'm just a comma separation? If you have one image, you can do like this, simple. It'll only be this. Hope this is not confusing. Okay. In the beginning, we talked about gradients, right? We can attach gradients to. So let me comment everything. Now, background image, linear gradient, and say blue, yellow. Save it. So it's a quite handy and quite popular CSS property. CSS, I don't know what should we call this, because this is property in CSS. This is always CSS property and this is always CSS value, but I think I should call it as value only. So linear gradient value. So you can change this order. If blue should come on come bottom and yellow should come on top, and then you should say to top, comma. So you can say just to top. So start the blue on the bottom and flow towards top. You can change the flow of that particular gradient. Okay, you can say left, you can say right, or bottom. Okay, to bottom, to top, to bottom, start with blue and end with yellow. And you can set the percentage, flow percentage of that particular image, like occupy 40% space and then start to blend, something like that. And you can alter that blending with these properties here. So you can give that same here, or 20% or 10% or 5% for yellow. It will actually do that. And for now, let's keep it like this. What happened? Okay. And you can actually rotate this guy. So instead of saying only to bottom or to right, you can say 45 degrees. So see, if you could see, it is rotated a bit. And so without this 45 degrees, you see the preview, it is like this in this direction. And if I say 45 degrees, it will tilt in this direction. And it has rotated 45 degrees. So you can change that here or here. So let me click here. You can find out the best view for your gradient and use that. And let's say you have an image, okay, like this. So comma, I can use it with image as well, because we have used multiple background images. Let's say URL images and hill, save it. And I want this image here, right below the gradient. But if the gradient does have colors, so it does not show me the image, right? You can say transparent. Am I spelling it correct? Save it. Now if you could see, the blue section is now replaced with a transparent color. Now if instead of blue, if I'm using black, sometimes you see, right, like a black patch from left, you can achieve something like this. See, the gradient is moving. You can say the gradient to just only have 5%, 2%, and just reduce that gradient. Or if you want this color to little bit brighter, you can say RGBA. You can apply alpha on that particular image itself, particular color itself, 0, 0, 0. This is black, but I want this black to only have 50% opacity. See, I can make it lighter and change that direction like 180 degrees. If I want to dim that sky, and if I want to place some text here, like dim it and place some text here, I can do that. I can say color 20px. So you can use, sorry, color to white. I lost it, guys. Color to white and font size some 300 pixels. You can do some crazy designs like this. So you need to combine, like this. So about linear gradient, about multiple images concepts. So it is up to you. How do you use them tactically to achieve the design you want? So always you just have to imagine the possibility with the say available CSS property. You have to combine them and mix them, and you have to get the desired output you want. So they are very simple, but yet they are powerful if you could use them in a right way. So this is okay. This is fine. Let me go back to the now you can also do a radial gradient. You can also apply a radial gradient. Sorry, this degrees radial gradient doesn't have a degree property. It has different properties. There is a long list, guys. So now if you want the gradient to have something like this, you can, when do you need this kind of gradient? Maybe like this, if you see, most of the time we apply vignette or I don't know how to pronounce that, vignette effect on the photos, like the black color on top and black color here, and it can be transparent. Misspelled. So something like this, guys. If you have a background image here, all the corners of that image will be darkened. I think I think again I have to bring this guy, Hills guy, to show that effect. No, this guy is coming on top. Why? See that, it's actually dark on the edges and light on the middle, and you can adjust that percentage, black percentage here to 5% or 50%, whatever it is. You can actually increase that, smudging with this percentage, and then you can get the desired output you want. Or you can reduce the black, percentage like this. I've actually reduced that transparency. See, I'm increasing the transparency. I'm getting that darker shade out there. So it's simply, and you can use this gradient for buttons. Like if you want your buttons to have a, some dark color at the bottom and slowly merging to lighter color on the top, then you can do it. Or you can, there are many uses. Like if I start apprehending the applications, I'll end up consuming the entire hour, but I'll leave it to you guys. Okay, use these properties wisely, and you could make awesome designs with these simple CSS properties. So I just want to one more thing, like shorthand for this background. So I don't expect you guys, all of you guys to write all these properties, but there is a shorthand, guys, for background. So this is a shorthand. You simply can save back. You need not to write this many properties. You can only have this property and write, you might have already know what is a shorthand, like padding. We could say 4 paddings, or just write one padding and it will apply on the all the sides. Same way, this is a shorthand for no repeat, center, and if you want to alter the size, you can say in the beginning center and contain. Okay, if you see, I think the hills image will give you good preview. This image is, Dora is not helping us. So I can say left contain or right contain, or so this is a replacement for all these properties. If you are scrolling this way, this page, so you want, so let me, to demo that, I'll have to move these things on a body, guys. So I'll have to, I just moved the same properties to body. So I haven't done anything. I just, instead of, instead of having it on a container, so I just have it on a body. So if I have this and let me remove this session. So two or more. So now I have many images, many much content like this. So I have more content in the body. So I'm getting a scroll because I have two container divs. So it is giving me a scroll. But if I scroll, this background image is moving up and along with the scroll. You can stop this behavior by saying, so it'll be easy to demonstrate the attachment property and background. I moved only for background, demo purpose only. So background attachment, the default behavior is scroll, but you can say fixed. And if you scroll this guy now, your background image will not scroll, but your content will scroll. So if I moved it to scroll, now it will scroll. The background image for the body will scroll along with this guy. So you can set it if you want the background image ever to be fixed and only content to scroll on top, you can do that. So this is one more property I missed, but I made sure the handout document have a video and cover everything, but I'm sure this is the one I missed out of that session. So having that said, that we have 1 hour 15 minutes at a stretch. I really appreciate a break. I really want you guys to take a break and get refreshments. So let's take any questions here and let's break out. And 5 minutes break is really not sufficient as we have seen last time. So let's take 8 minutes this time and come back. Any questions, guys?
Can you put a linear gradient on a font color?
I haven't tried. But let's give it a try. Why not? Linear gradient is designed to work with the background image property. I seriously doubt that it will do, but let's give it a try. Why we should not do that? I don't know. H1 font size 200 pixels. Okay, and I just wanted to color the property is color. I don't think that's the case, but I know just a trick to do that. CSS mask property. There is a property called CSS mask. So always remember to refer the Mozilla Developer Network docs, guys. Don't I mean, it's w3schools.com is awesome. I don't say that is the website, bad website, but this particular website does have a descriptive it's a good documentation. That's what I would say. You should start visiting this website. And so mask, I think we can do this. So I can say mask the image. Let me try this. For this guy, I can use H1 mask URL. Just trying to, just exploring if it is really possible or not. I've seen somebody using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me search directly for it. Mask for text, CSS mask for text overlay. I think this guy should have the answer. Yes. Here is it. No, this is not the way I want to do it. But this should work.
Oh.
No, this is very dumb. The right answer, but it does a syntax. I mean,
So it put an image into the
yeah,
font?
I think we got
Ah.
it. I think we got it. So I can make it to 300. Now this has a, now I can remove this background URL and add a linear gradient.
Oh.
Blue and yellow. Save it. Yeah. So this way, I think there's always tricks to achieve something in CSS. This,
Oh, neat. Thank you.
yeah.
Make my rainbow works.
Yeah. There's a background image. I can say like this. I don't think we need these guys too. No, we need it. So we should say background clip to text only, and then the text color to have only transparent, because if you have some color to that text, the text color will always have that color, right? So if we don't make this text fill color to transparent, you'll always see the text color only, not the background color that we have assigned here. So what this guy is making is he's attaching, putting up a background image to that and just making that color to transparent, the text color to transparent, so that the background is visible. Awesome trick. Awesome trick. Yes.
So
Nice.
Ganesh, I think instead of background image, you can use background color also. There.
Yeah, you can, but that is as equal as using a color, right? So if I use background color, so you mean to say here, I don't
Yes.
think the gradient will render on.
It just strikes off, I think.
No, I believe that background color does not accept the gradient property value as a property, because it only accepts on background image, as far as I know. But you cannot apply a gradient on the background color. And in our session also we have referred the same, I guess. Background image only for. I haven't stressed on that, but gradients you can apply on the background image property, not on the color property. So if you could refer here, I've applied it on the image property, not on the color property. Does only accept a color. Image property can accept an image, a linear gradient, and a radial gradient. So I haven't stressed. I should have stressed here. Anyways, thanks for noticing, guys. Thank you, Kranti. There are two messages: how to add borders and how to add border to the font. Okay. I think it's same like other text. 1px solid red. Yeah. Okay, you meant the border to the exact shape of that image. I think to do that we should use text shadow property 4px. Text shadow. One px, 2px. You can say right. Yeah, there is a shadow coming up on the bottom. If you would see, black shadow. 8px. Yeah. It's actually making that text look a little bit blurred because the edge is kind of disturbed now. The border is red, the color is red, and a lot of red there. So I just want to kill some red. Black. Since I've applied the text shadow, it is actually applying the color also and not making the transparent, and this is getting disturbed. But if you don't have this effect and have this color property to white, you see with shadow effect, we can set some, border exactly right below or above the text. Like exactly follow the text. It can follow the text. We can smudge. We can choose to not to smudge that background and increase the, width and height, and you can really see a shadow acting as a border to your text. I think it's a trick, but it's not a straightforward solution. It's a trick again.
How do you change the size of the different colors in a gradient? Like make it, like if you wanted them to be closer together or like spread out more?
Yeah, so if I put back some of the gradient, so let me comment these styles. It's crazy. Okay, sorry. I commented in a bad way. Put back this line. This. Linear gradient, and let me. I should have not gone over these tricks and techniques. Confused a lot of people as I'm getting the feedback. So let's say we have red.
I think there is still need for adjusting the mic.
Is it louder? I mean, am I sounding low?
I think you sound fine.
Okay. I think if you remember, I said if you want extra space, you can put 20% here. That will actually stretch a bit and start merging there. And if you assign same property, same, to everyone, I think it'll give a sharp edges around the colors. So you can, control the smudge by giving some value here, 10% or 20%. You can increase the percentage. And
If you wanted it to like repeat, like it would red, blue, green, like they're tighter together, so it would just keep repeating the pattern. Is that?
I didn't get quite get. I can't visualize what you're saying. That means I have three. You meant like I have three colors, but
Yeah.
after that I need another red, green, like this.
So it's like right now they're each like a third, but like instead if it just was, going to repeat the red, blue, green pattern. So like the red was maybe half that size, the blue was half that size.
I think we can have any the number of there's no limit on the number of colors that we pass to this. What happened? So there's an extra comma here, so it's messing up. So there's no limit. Like again, I can have a red here, and again blue here. I can on and on go.
But you'd have to enter it manually.
Yeah, but
to keep going.
if we don't want to do that, there's another way, because so you can repeat this element itself. like without any padding a margin, it will cut, but the
Oh,
merge will not happen. Like it will be quite sharp over here,
yeah.
but you can manage that with the left and right, like
Yeah.
I can say two bottom, and then like it's again, no, I don't think so, because the second color will always have a sharp edge over here.
Okay.
I didn't know how to repeat that, but if we don't have any viewport or height, I've seen this behavior. So if we don't have a height and width, and if I continue to have a, so it'll actually repeat without any, if there is no height, and it is only automatically calculating the height. I thought it is a bug sometimes, but I've seen the linear gradient repeated many times, but I couldn't quite recall what I did there. So maybe can I try with repeat? I don't know. I really don't know. Can I say repeat? No,
So Ganesh, change it to background, Ganesh, not image.
background is a shorthand, right?
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
if you want to use
Okay,
repeat,
okay.
we need
Yeah,
to use
you are
shorthand,
right. I got it. So let me use the repeat the property itself. You are right. Yeah, I think repeat is not helping. Yeah, repeat is not helping. It's not repeating. So it is actually expanding the gradient to the height of that particular element.
Okay.
I honestly don't know if there is a property for repeating it, but the first position is always about the positioning. So like where do you want the gradient, and the rest all kind of colors only. So that's what the syntax of that linear gradient value, property value. But I'll keep, when it comes to CSS, always keep my options open and always mind open. I will never say no to something, because there's always a way to come around and achieve what we want. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think everyone back.
Yes, Ganesh.
Thank you, Shiva. Thanks, Santosh, joining us. Let me set up this stage for next session. Okay. Ready, guys? If you just raise your hand or good. 3 members are in. I know Jessica is in, Santosh is in, Shiv Sai is in. Ravi, are you there? Ravi Teja? Nichita, Shravan, someone is here. Naveen?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep. Naveen, you back?
Ganesh, I'm there.
Yeah. Shiv is already there. Okay. I think we have everybody. Okay. The next, so with this session, guys, I just want to wrap, I just want to go over all the selectors that are available in the CSS. So in this stretch itself. So we are going over lots of selectors. Don't try to memorize them, because you have the documentation if you wanted to recollect later, but try to understand them, because if you refer them in future, you will be able to recollect what they do. And we have content that will talk about that statement. But selector, but always listen to the class and don't think as if we are a memory bank. Okay, we are CP. Don't just imagine like yourself as a CPU. Okay, understand the logic. Do not try to memorize anything because for that reason I've created a handout document. Okay, here you should really need to understand the ways. Like only, I mean, if you are speaking only 20% of by theory, by 20% only be consumed by the learners, and in the online mode it is actually, it brings down the learning to 10%. If it is in person it makes 20, but online it is 10%. So just make the most out of this 10%. Only try to understand the logic. So this every element structure here, like the element structure here is possibly a selector, guys. So how do we select a li? Can anyone just ping me, can you guys ping me the selector? If I wanted to write some style to the li, how many ways I can write a selector? Just a simple quiz. I have a ul and I have an li. I need a selector.
UL or LI?
Yeah, ul space li. Yes.
If you want to select every li, you can just use li, I think.
Yeah, if I want every li to be selected on the entire page, yes, I can simply say li. Yes, li and strictly put less than, sorry, a greater than symbol, and it will only apply to the child elements inside ul. Yes. Okay, there are different ways that you can do select element, right? Like with a space, you say all the childs. With a greater than symbol, you can say immediate childs, not the child's child or something. So that's awesome. So till now we have seen tag selectors, class selector, ID selector, right? Now the current, so we have three more selectors, that is attribute selector, child selectors, and pseudo selectors. Pseudo selectors does have two categories, that are pseudo elements and pseudo selectors. Yes, Kranti, you raised your hand.
No, I didn't put it
Yeah.
down. So
Yeah, you lowered it. Sorry. Okay, so paragraph. Hi, this is Ganesh. Anchor, link, google.com, link to Google. Okay. Lang, English. So we know, right? This is an HTML element, and this is a attribute. Okay, this is an attribute and this is an attribute value. So always remember the terminology. HTML element, attribute, and attribute value. So when I said attribute value, attribute and attribute selector, I literally meant the attribute. So you can select an element with attribute and attribute values. Okay. So let's say I want to style the element does have a language attribute. So I can, maybe I haven't attached a style file, but I can still go with this. So I want to select all the p tags which are having language attribute and assign some color to red. How many items we have with the language attribute present on them? Only one element, that is p. So if I have multiple elements, okay, let's say on a page you have text on the Spanish and text for, so if I have Spanish, I might have the value to something else. I don't know really SP. I don't know the code really. So it's fine. So I want all the Spanish text to highlighted, highlighted in green and all the English text highlighted in orange. So I can do that. Okay. So I can, if at all there is a language attribute present, keep this as an automatic. And if at all the language attribute value is en, and apply the orange color. If it is SP, like Spanish, I don't know, let's say Española or Spanish, or just use this as a code. So don't mind the code. I just so I have one Spanish item and 3 English elements. So this is now highlighted in green and the rest highlighted in orange, because this attribute value is English is in orange, and Spanish language value, will have green color. So that's the selector, guys. Any question? Paragraph, square braces. If you're not concerned with the value, you can just say if this is present. So in what cases this is much useful. Let's say if you have a button and it has a disabled attribute. Sorry, just a second. I think my mom forgot her phone and she's searching. Just give me a second. Okay. So let's say this button has disabled property. You can say test, and if I save it, this button is now disabled. But if you wanted to select that disabled button, you can say button which is having square braces, which is having the disabled attribute present on it, and then you can write some style. See? So if you don't have that disabled attribute present on it, it will not apply the style. So attribute selector does come in handy in lot of cases. Okay. Let us say I have, there is one more case. There is an attribute called title. Let's say title. This is a wish to the customer. Let's say the title is not to render, but when you hover, it will actually show what is that element is all about. If you see, this is a wish to the customer. So that's how we use it. Let's say we have this title attribute present in all of them, and customer, stakeholder, or manager, dev team. Okay, we have different so let me comment these guys first for a while and remove this button and comment this link. We only have 4 items. So now if I wanted to highlight in an element which is containing a specific word, if an attribute with a specific word present on the element, I just want to highlight that element. So let me comment everything, all the styles here. Now, paragraph property, the title attribute, which is containing the customer word, should have a different style. So I can do that. Paragraph language attribute, and I can say the value should be customer, not just customer. If it has a word called, so somebody rejoined. So if it has a word called, so if you put this symbol, the tilt symbol, we call it as, I mean, it has many names, but I prefer the tilt symbol. So, sorry. I hope the text is visible. Last time Karthik told me to increase and I just kept that same size. So if the language attribute or title attribute, sorry, because the title attribute does have a word called customer, please highlight that. So increase the font size to 50 px and change the color to an aquamarine. Okay, see, this is not really visible. So if the customer word is present on the first element, so this symbol, the tilt symbol, checks for if this word present on the value of that particular attribute. If it is present, it selects and applies the style. So attribute comes in lot. I mean, this attribute selectors will be very, very handy at some critical situations. So remember this, every time the symbol changes, the condition is also changes. So you can put a, pipe symbol to exactly match the word, or you can have a, cap symbol. So that you can element begins with that word. Like, let's say if this is, well, this is, let's say if it is starting with well, it will select the second one. So this is 2, this is 1. Let's number these guys, 3 and 4. So this symbol will only look for the what is the starting word. So where the space start, where there is a space, that is a word. And if the first word is matching with this, then it will apply that style on that particular element. So if I have 2 elements, it will apply the 2 element, apply to the 2 elements. So remember, this symbol will always get the look for the first word. Okay. And the dollar symbol, if I replace with it a dollar, it will look for that ending word. Okay. The title value ending with ending word, it will only compare the last word. And if this dev team is matching with the last word dev team, that will apply on the style. That is on the 4th element, as you could see here, and it is adding the style on the 4th element. You can look for a substring, like if it is somewhere present, like I don't care if it is a last word or a small word, I just want this to be present on the, so if I say wish, if it is a wish, it will apply to everything. The wish word is present in all of them. So let's try to remove it from one thing. So the second element doesn't have a word in the title attribute value, so that is not highlighted. So this is how you can use. This is the standard syntax. In the before equal to, you can have these symbols like pipe, cap, plus or minus, or no, sorry, dollar or star. Asterisk will go for look for specific word in the entire value, or dollar will only look for the ending. So wish is not an ending word to any of these, but if I replace this, it will look for that ending value, then dollar, cap for the first value and tilde for, so we call it a tilde. I call it a tilde, but I don't know. Tilde only checks for if it is contains that word. So that is about the attribute selector, guys. It will only we can write different conditions on one particular attribute and select that image and apply the styles. Any questions here? You can post it in chat or you can unmute yourself and ask.
I don't understand the difference between the squiggle line and the asterisk.
So asterisk kind of not look for the specific word. If the text itself present, it will apply that style, like something like this. But tilde is kind of searches for a specific word.
Oh, okay.
And it will apply. So asterisk is kind of a wild card.
Okay.
So it just is substring means like if it is, it doesn't care if it is a word or a series of letters. So it will remove it will not consider the word or something, just like it goes. And if it finds that specific letters, it will apply.
Okay.
Okay. If we don't have any questions, let's move on to next set of selectors, that are child selectors. Okay, I think these selectors we know, we've used many times. Sorry, someone was asking question.
Ganesh, can we give a word with space in title in P attribute?
Sorry? I haven't tried. I don't think so.
Okay.
No. So next set is child item. So now I will child selectors. I'll comment these guys. I'll bring back the UL. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's here. I thought it, I lost it. Okay. We know the one child selector, that is space, because if I say UL space LI, it will select all the child elements and apply the color red. And if we want it strictly, because if I have another UL in a LI, something like this, so this style is also applying on that particular element. Or if I have LI in a LI directly, can I have that? Like, I think I can add, but if I said something like this, I think all the LIs are list elements. Let's say paragraph, and inside the paragraph I have another paragraph, and there I have spans. Okay, and if I change this P comma span, so this is actually applying to all the childs. And if I put a greater than symbol, okay, and if I make this parent element to this, like, no, if I have a span, I think it will apply the span. So it will only apply on the immediate child of that particular element. So if a paragraph tag does have a child span, and if it is immediate, then only applies with the greater than symbol. So if I have another div here and a span here, it shouldn't apply on this one. If I have this symbol, it will only look for immediate child. So the span is immediate child for the paragraph, but this span is not immediate child, but it is a immediate child of div. But if you don't have that greater than symbol, it should apply on all the spans inside the span. Like, weird. Do you have any other style set? But this with a space, typically it should apply on all the spans that is present, like irrespective of whether it is inside a div or not, it should apply. Am I missing anything here? No, anyways, basically that's the difference. Okay, that this is a parent. Okay, this should have a parent. A parent. So it's not a child to parent, but from, sorry, parent to child. It's from a child to parent in reverse. And if I have a plus symbol here instead of greater than, let me actually prepare the proper HTML. I think this is where, just a second, some noise. So if I want the first element of this particular list, the child element should be selected, then I can use the plus symbol. Div plus P. This should select the first element and apply the color. Is there anything wrong with my image, my live server? Or have I messed it up? Three paragraph inside a div. Okay. So if this div have adjacent tag that is having adjacent tag of paragraph, this plus symbol will select the next element. So that's the trick here. So if we have immediate parent, the paragraphs that are having the div as immediate parent will actually apply the style. And if I use a plus symbol, a div tag, which is, I mean, a p tag, which is having a div tag as a adjacent tag will be selected. So the target is paragraph tag, but this plus symbol look for a div image that is adjacent to that element, that is right above it. And if you wanted to review that, so I think I just need to change this div formatting. Yeah, I'm good now. Any questions still here? Just a moment, guys. I should attend to something. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I have a lot of breaks in this session. Like so many people on the guest, there are guests in the house, and I can really have to shepherd between. So I can't really focus. So if I want this div to be selected on apply styles, so now I can say P and use the tilde and say div. Now you can see the styles applied for the entire div. So if you want the next item to be selected to that item, now you can use paragraph tag. The div tag is the target, but it should be preceded, succeeded by preceded by the p element. You can use the tilde element so that you can highlight this div. So that's the sibling. I think these are all the sibling and child selectors. Any questions? With a space, with greater than symbol, with a plus symbol, and with a tilde symbol. I think I can put back all the CSS. Div plus P. So if I have a P that has a div as a this paragraph does have a sibling div. So this element, so now let's change this to green. This element, this selector selecting that paragraph, which is having a item on the top, or this selector, which is actually selecting a div. I'm selecting a paragraph. Here I'm selecting a div itself that is having a paragraph as its, sibling that is up on the top. So I think succeeded by, should I say, it's a sibling, but on the top. What is the word for a sibling that occurs first? I really don't know. So if we use div parent, all the paragraphs having the div as its parent will apply the style. So font size to 20 px. So if you could see, let's make it 30 so it's visible. All the paragraph tags that has a div as a parent tag will be selected and applied. And last, we know that div space p, all the paragraphs that are inside div will be selected with this selector and applied some styles. Font, weight, border. Okay, again, this is a set of 3. Paragraphs that have div as a pair, paragraphs that are inside the div, paragraph that having div as a parent, paragraph that is having an adjacent element div, a div that is having a adjacent tag as paragraph. So inside, checking parent, above and below. This is a combinator. We call this as a combinator selectors. Any questions? Okay. Next set. Item 4. So if I wanted to select these child items first or last or one by one, you can do that, because now we know the selectors that can select, all of them together, but we can select individually too with a simple selector. So that is first child or nth child. So div that is having a paragraph tag and nth child. Div is a parent tag, and inside div there is a paragraph and there is childs in them. So there is a list of these paragraphs, and I want that one particular element to be selected, like first or second or third. I can do that, and I can simply say, apply some color. The 1, 2, 3, third item has got selected, and you can change this number and it will select. And there is a way, pattern to use as well. So you can say odd. All the odd elements in the sequence will be selected and applied the styles. And same way you can do it for, you can say even, and for the even I use green. So no matter how many number of elements you have, all the odd ones will have red, as we have said here. All the green ones will have green. So if you sometimes we see a tables like this. I don't know if I can write a syntax for table or simply copy. One row should be light color, the other row, maybe that cases you can use, but remember, let's not get distracted. So nth child odd will apply the styles on all the odd elements in the order. I have this list, immediate siblings and list, and I said odd and even. And you can select every third element and apply the styles. So let's say div and paragraph and nth child, and say 3n. Okay, every third element I wanted to have some different style. You can do that. 3n and say font weight bold. Every third element. Okay, or just let me increase the font size. Now every third element will be having these styles. So this is a pattern. We call this as a pattern. Okay, and that's it, I guess. That is a wrap, guys. Any questions here, like from the list? You can
No, I think no. We understood it.
you can set a number, okay, and you can set odd or even, and you can give a pattern to 3n. So every third element will be applying.